Growing up in the 2010s, the word hypebeast was thrown around quite a lot. From famous YouTubers to internet tropes to the kids in my high school rocking Supreme. The word hypebeast, according to the first definition on Urban Dictionary, and the first cohesive sentence of that definition is someone who likes trends. But I think in 2015, the identifiers of a hypebeast were much more obvious. From head to toe off-white to your favorite Gucci man, it seems like these sorts of outfits are few and far between in 2021. So that begs the question, what makes you a hypebeast in 2021? Yo, what is going on, everyone? If you don't know me, my name is Drew. What it do? I make videos about fashion, art, culture, TikTok, what makes you a hypebeast, and the likes. And for those of you who do know me, what's up, squad? What's up, gang? Let's do a couple fist bumps. There's one, there's two, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate you guys for always tuning in. Before we get into today's video, I want to make this very blatant disclaimer. This video is all opinion based. It's all in my opinion. And if you disagree with my opinion, then go down to the comment section and comment why you disagree. But in all honesty, I just want to spread peace, love, and positivity. If you don't know me, I'm not a very like make fun of people kind of dude. So this video is just meant to be a conversation starter. So hopefully it doesn't rub anybody the wrong way. But with that being said, get your Twitter fingers ready and let's get into the video. You are a hypebeast. Let that sink in for a moment. I'm just kidding, but maybe I'm not. I don't know, maybe you are. My definition of a hypebeast is someone who buys into the most trendy items within fashion and buys into the most popular items within a particular genre of fashion. I think traditionally we associate the hypebeast with a lot of these streetwear brands, skate culture brands, Supreme, Bape, Off-White, these kind of brands, Gucci, that's a luxury brand, but these kind of brands are the brands we associate with someone who is a hype beast. But I would go even further and say that those people are most likely hype beasts, if you want to call them that, but it's also the person who buys into the most popular item within a genre. I think that caveat is very important. And in my opinion, the biggest genres within fashion I say are gorpcore, Japanese Americana, tech wear, workwear, streetwear, loungewear, athleisure, vintage, fast fashion. And if I missed any other genres of fashion, comment them down in the comment section. But those are pretty much the grand, those are what we have, you know, in terms of menswear and a lot of times women's wear when we're talking about fashion. We all know what the 2015 to about 2018 or maybe even 2013 to 2018 hypebeast wore. They had a lot of Supreme box logos. They maybe wore a Bape shark head, bought into Yeezys, bought into Off-White, you know, the 10 collection. Those people are reserved for what we'd like to be called the 2015 or 2013 to 2018 hypebeast. I think now we're really in a new era. And that sort of hypebeast, once again, was defined by the exclusivity of the items that they purchased, the high resale price of the things that they purchased, whether it be like a luxury like a Gucci or a Louis Vuitton or something like that. And I think the goal of a 2015 hypebeast was to showcase that they could get these things and showcase their wealth, showcase the fact that they understand parts of fashion that, you know, the mainstream media doesn't necessarily understand. But it brought a lot of attention to streetwear and things like that. I think in 2015, 2016, the mainstream media actually started to pay a lot of attention to a lot of these hypebeasts, highlighting them as the kind of the figureheads for the people within the subcategory of streetwear, for example, with Supreme and Louis Vuitton and things like that. Those people, the hypebeasts, essentially brought a lot of attention to that genre of fashion, and as a result, you see a lot of younger people and the popularity of fashion, especially streetwear, growing very quickly and very largely in that like 2015, 16, 17, 18 range. And I would say that the majority of people probably in the Western world have purchased an item, a hypebeast item, or maybe beyond the Western world have purchased a hypebeast item, whether it be from Supreme, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Off-White. And if I missed any, there are so many, you know, different brands that had varying levels of hype, whether it be Palace or whether it be Pyrex or, you know, so many different things. I guarantee you, if you're watching this video, you either wanted one of those items or purchased one of those items. Whatever the price point was that you purchased it for, you probably had one of them at a different time in your life, and that kind of makes you a hypebeast. Fast forward to 2021, and I can guarantee you that the majority of people within fashion's various genres and communities don't consider themselves a hypebeast, even though they probably engaged in some hypebeast purchases in their past. And I think this realization is at the core of the notion of this video essay, which is meant to answer the question, what makes you a hypebeast in 2021? What doesn't have hype in 2021? Oh wait, no, seriously, think about it. You may be able to comment down below some of the items or brands that you feel like aren't very hyped, but I guarantee you like or purchase from a brand right now that has some varying level of hype to it. I can almost guarantee it. I just know it in the bottom of my heart. There's so many. Whether you like Vuja Day or Travis Scott, whether you like Dunk Lows or combat boots, all of these things have been popularized and have been deemed a certain level of hype in my eyes to the genre that they speak to. Oh wait, maybe you like Rick Owens, or maybe you like Carhartt. I think all brands and genres and designers, from fashion creators to your favorite high-end designers to your favorite content creators brands, they all have varying levels of hype to them. And this is because more and more people than ever are into fashion. It's undeniable that the advent and the kind of popularity of fashion through social media has boosted the amount of people within the communities that have fashion at the forefront, and it's unbeknownst to the time period before. Now, there are some brands and products that don't have that much hype to them, not to the level of like what Nike and Virgil Abloh are doing, but I would say that most brands that are within a range of 0 to 50,000 followers on Instagram have the lowest degree of hype. But if your brand is above that 50,000, they're in 100,000 on Instagram, or they have 100,000 people kind of knowing about them and they continue to trend upward, it's inevitable that hype will get mixed into the equation when they're selling their products. And maybe you didn't like them because they were hyped initially, but now that they've grown to the point that there's so many people looking at what they do, there is a level of hype, there's a level of desire, there's a level of trendiness to whatever the brand's nature is. And there are some brands that are exceptions to that, but the vast majority of brands fall into that rule. I think what the majority of people who probably clicked on this video expect me to say the hype beast of 2021 is the person who wears Dunk Lows, SB Dunks, Jordan 1s, vintage tees, racer shirts, and things like that, right? And I won't deny that I think that those individuals may have more of a hypebeast trait from the 2015 era than a lot of the hypebeasts do now. But in reality, it's just one genre of fashion, and that's the way I'm thinking about it now. The person who buys into Capital, for example, and buys the Capital smiley face socks, the knit socks, there's a level of a hypebeast to that. You weren't doing those things 2-3 years ago when Capital really wasn't at the forefront of popularity. Or maybe you like workwear, and workwear has been around for a very, very long time, just like Capital has. And you're getting into 874s, or you're getting into Carhartt double knees, and those items are so popular right now. They're the most popular items within the genre. That's how I define hypebeast, which is, I don't even know if I like that term, because I feel like hypebeast and someone who understands and likes trends can be interchangeable, but we've demonized this word hypebeast. But a lot of times, whether it be from workwear to Gorpcore, if you buy Arc'teryx now, if you buy Solomon now, when were you buying Solomon in 2015? That's my question. And it's not a knock on you. I'm a part of the group as well. And this also for me includes stuff like the Birkenstock Boston and just other genres within fashion that have a lot of different varying levels of individuals within the group buying the most popular item within that genre, right? And that's kind of the distinction I'm trying to get at. Hopefully no one's going crazy in the comment section right now. And granted, some of these things have been around for a long time compared to like the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Fragment collaboration that is literally, in my opinion, just a hype designed shoe. It's designed to create hype, right? And some of the other items that I mentioned before, they're not necessarily designed to create hype. And so there's a distinction there between buying into something that is obviously created for hype and then buying into something that is more so a traditional product within a brand that has reached peak popularity. And there's a lot of brands that are reaching a certain level of peak popularity, and a lot of products that are reaching peak popularity right now. And that could even go for like Jordans, because Jordans have been around for a long time. They're reaching peak popularity right now. People like them before, people like them a lot. A lot of people like them now, and people will like them when they're no longer in peak popularity, right? That's kind of how fashion goes. It ebbs and flows, right? There are different things that become popular. We all participate in the buying of those things. All of us who understand and look at fashion and recognize trends, we all buy into the things that are relatively popular within the time frame that we're living in, right? And that is what a lot of people would call a hype beast, because you're buying into the things that are trendy, right? But let's reject the notion of something like a hype beast being something that's this awful human being, and recognize that it's a little bit more nuanced than that, like I've been saying in a lot of my videos. This leads me to saying that the modern hype beast, the 2021 hype beast, in a sense is a version of all of us. And if you're someone who's like, nah, I'm not a hype beast, I reject everything that's trendy and fashionable and doesn't have any hype to it, then, you know, I honestly, there's no way for me to know that. There's no way. But I think that a lot of people buy into a lot of different things that, one, they learn about something and its popularity becomes greater and greater and greater. Or maybe you buy into something, or you learn about something because it is a very popular item within fashion's various genres, right? Like I talk about Gorpcore and Arc'teryx. You know, Arc'teryx has been around for a long time. No, not like not hundreds of years, but it's been around for a decent amount of time, right? Popularity kind of rise and fall and rise again of Arc'teryx has been something that's really visible. If you look at, you know, what was the conversation around fashion in 2005 versus 2010 versus 2020 versus, you know, what it will be in 2025. It's all variable, and I think that makes it really interesting. And I think that it kind of leads me to my final verdict for this video. Maybe you really disagree with me because you like Guidi boots, and there's no way Guidis are in the same vein as like a Dunk, or the person who buys Dunks and the person who buys Guidis are in totally different lanes of fashion. But in my opinion, I think about it, both Dunks and Guidis have been around for longer than a lot of the people who are young wearing them to really understand the full history of both types of footwear. And what that means is that they both are having a moment within the current scape of fashion, making us believe and understand and have a kind of epiphany about them that, oh, this is a shoe that I like, I want to get into because X, Y, and Z factors. Maybe it's quality, maybe it has that history, maybe it's because X, Y, and Z is wearing it, or X, Y, and Z recommended it to me. Those two people aren't that different. They just, I mean, they are a little bit different, but they aren't like, you know, night and day difference. And that's kind of one of the things I want to point out in this video, is that a lot of people sit on a pedestal. A lot of people sit on a pedestal and look down at others and think that they're on a high horse in the pretentiousness of the things that they buy compared to other people. And I just reject that notion. I really do. I reject it. And to succinctly say my verdict, I would say that the majority of people, like 75, 80%, maybe higher, that I recognize within the fashion communities that I'm in are hype beasts. And that might piss you off. But I want to break it down into like 3 tiers, because I think that there's varying levels of a hype beast, right? Because we all buy into things that have a varying level of hype. It's just the truth. And there's nothing wrong with it, I think. I think all of us like reject this notion of being hype beast, but in reality, we've all bought something, at least I know I have, within the last 1 year, 6 months, that has a varying level of hype to it. It's just the truth, Jimmy. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with being a hype beast. It's just someone who likes trends, someone who understands trends and maybe buys into a trendy item here or there. There's nothing wrong with it. It really isn't. If you like something, like it. It doesn't matter whether I say it's bad or good, or whether X, Y, and Z says it's bad or good. It's about you. Fashion is not about other people's judgment on you. It's about how you enjoy the things that you enjoy. I really love these conversations, actually. But let's break down the different tiers that I feel like the varying levels of hype beasts are, right? The first tier of hype beast is the individual who buys into kind of the most popular items within, I would say, streetwear, because I feel like streetwear been one of the major driving genres for a lot of young people growing up now. And those items include, you know, the Travis Scott collaborations, the SB Dunk collaborations, all those kind of major collaborations with Nike, because I feel like Nike is the kind of ultimate arbiter of creating these very, very hyped, sought after products, and they're kind of leading the marketplace in terms of the number one brand, leading hype to a lot of young and even older people. I think this person in tier 1 also maybe buys into, you know, some vintage items as well. Your kind of cliche explore page individual who has, you know, vintage tees or bootleg vintage tees and wears, you know, short shorts, you know, in the summertime, maybe some 5-inch inseam shorts with kind of elaborate detailing on them or elaborate printing on them, and then they have their Dunks or their Jordans on feet, no matter what. It could be Jordan 1s, SBs, Dunks, Dunk Lows, and or Jordan 4s have been super popular. I think the next tier is someone who kind of breaks the mold of only buying into streetwear, and that individual maybe buys into brands like ALD or 18 East Official or Add Some. Still, those brands have a varying level of hype to them. I mean, especially ALD. We all know ALD is very popular, but like brands like 18 East Official or Add Some, other brands like that, they understand the hype nature of streetwear. They decide to buy into other, you know, shoe collaborations and footwear collaborations, whether they be maybe in the Doc Marten range or whether they be with Reebok or other brands, just other things. They just understand it. Maybe they're a little bit older of a person, but that's definitely, there's a difference between those two types of hype beast, if you want to call them that. Maybe this person also like shops at Uniqlo, something of that nature. Other identifiers, you can comment down below what you think tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Because we're about to get into tier 3. I haven't even said tier 3 yet, but let's do tier 3. Someone in tier 3 maybe buys a little bit more authentic vintage items from their area, not just buying kind of the very similar vintage items that you see over and over and over again on some of the Instagram explore pages. This person kind of understands single stitch tees or like drop shoulder, the different stitching styles. Is someone who's a little bit more so into fashion, buys into maybe workwear brands and has been doing so for a longer time, not just because it's popular recent times, has been divulging into, you know, maybe some avant-garde. Like that's kind of like the almost tier 4, but like, you know, avant-garde stuff, Japanese Americana stuff, sashiko stitching styles, and just knows a whole wealth of knowledge of different things, and kind of just goes beyond what, you know, what your tier 1 or tier 2 does. Really finds out about brands and pieces that are just out of the ordinary, but still possibly indulges in what the same things that tier 1 indulges in with certain Nike collabs or New Balance collabs or whatever, right? So yo, what's up, y'all? So this is me post editing the video, and hopefully I'm explaining all these tiers as best as I can. I think tier 1 and tier 2 were explained a little bit better than tier 3 in terms of the identifiers of the people within the group. Hopefully the pictures in tier 3 did a better job of explaining, but I think what you'll find is that those who are what I'm calling tier 3, maybe even tier 4, they really have a very passionate kind of interest in fashion. They know a lot more details. Their outfits have a lot more details. There's a lot more that goes into their personal styling, and they look very much so more individualistic. They have their own identity within fashion. Then I think what tier 2 and tier 1 have, nothing wrong with tier 1 or tier 2 or tier 3. There's nothing wrong with anybody's outfits. It's just as to a way to identify people who I would like to call our hype beasts. But in reality, no one's really a hype beast. It's just an identifying term for someone who likes trends. But at the end of the day, hopefully you guys are kind of getting what I'm trying to get at, which is like there are different levels to styles, and within each genre, there are different people who purchase and buy different things that have varying levels of hype, right? This is where I think the nuance is like so caked in. Like there's not just one type of individual within fashion, and it's kind of like we're talking about like human psychology here for a second. Like we've kind of moved beyond just fashion. Like all these people, in my opinion, are more similar than they are really different. And I feel like all of us kind of go through different tiers when it comes to our fashion progression. A lot of people will say that they started with sneakers, They kind of progressed through having sneakers, you know what I mean? Didn't want to just have their sneakers be the best thing about their fit, so they bought different things, and it just continues to progress. And I think a lot of people have that progression. So for me, it's like a hype beast is like not even a thing. Like, I get it's a term, but like it's more so representing an individual who understands trends and or buys the most popular items within a genre, right? I think that's a really, really powerful definition. All this to kind of back up my statement that we all are invariably, in one way or another, a hype beast. And like I've been saying with a lot of things, I think hype isn't intrinsically bad. Many things in this world aren't intrinsically bad, right? A lot of things are given or associated with a value that deems them bad, but hype and hype beasts aren't intrinsically bad. And so if you have that idea in your head, I challenge you to change your, mindset, have a paradigm shift about the way you think about fashion, because I think a lot of us experienced or have experienced a little bit of hype. Oh man, I'm really wondering what the comments are saying about this one. What do you think makes someone a hype beast in 2021? I would love to hear you answer that off in the comment section. Don't go crazy. Don't say anything wild in the comment section. I know people sometimes have a tendency to wrap their identity within the items and clothing that they wear. So if you feel offended by the fact that I'm labeling something that you wear hype beast, because I'm literally labeling everyone a hype beast, so hopefully that makes it a little bit better. But I know a lot of people have tied their identity to the clothes that they wear, and that's something that can be really hard to wrestle with when someone challenges you on that identity. As always, man, I'm always saying this in my videos. My videos are meant to be a conversation, and I just want it to be a conversation. Don't take it, to the core of who you are. It's the core of your being, right? Fashion is something that matters to me and is important. I would never say that this stuff doesn't matter, but don't let it, impact your daily life and let it get you down. You know what I'm saying? So that's the Drew What It Do message always. And as always, I'm spreading peace, love, and positivity in 2021. So that means I'm spreading peace, love, and positivity to you wherever you are in the world. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you soon. Abianto. Hasta luego. Jumpa lagi. Slan lit. Auf Wiedersehen. Yo, what is up? Y'all made it to the post vid. Can I get a fist bump one time? You feel me? Thank you guys for staying to this point in the video. It means a lot to me. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it was a decent vid? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you disagree with me? I know that people who stay to the post vid are like the 1% like fans, like who truly support the channel. Not even fans, like homies. Like y'all are for real. I appreciate you so much. What do you guys think about the new setup? I think it's a little bit crooked, which is unfortunate. I don't know if it's crooked, but it's kind of unfortunate if it is. But I made the whole video, so if it's crooked, it's crooked. I try to say see you soon in all the languages I could possibly remember, and hopefully I pronounce some of these things right, man. You guys have been putting me on to saying see you soon, and hopefully your country or where you're from is represented. I got love for all the people from all over the world, so I appreciate you guys. Let me ask you, do you have a decent day today? Like, talk to me. Like, you at school or work? I know everyone pretty much works every day in school or at work, but the school year is going decent. I know that some people are even getting into like fall break pretty soon or something like that. I remember when I was like a high school, middle school, fall break and stuff like that. That used to be the best times. I know if you're older, you remember that. In college, you could just take a week off and call it fall break. You feel me? No, I was like, don't do that. I never did anything like that because I was hooping. So well, hopefully you guys had a good day today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time, and let me know if I need to make any changes to the setup. I'd really appreciate it. So peace, y'all. Have a good day.